Give me 1 second. Okay, good evening, everybody. So if you care to join, I'm actually just starting on some arts and crafts here. I have been obsessed with mini brands. I actually have a whole, like, this does not even cover even half of my collection. This just happens to be what I've managed to pick out that match because I want to make them into earrings. Now I've got these like more solid ones right here. Sorry. I've got these more solid pieces here that I actually had to like heat up the needle that goes into the item so that I could melt the plastic to get into this little gosh, I forget what they call it. I think it's called an eye ring. Something like that. I've got plenty of others here. I just happened, like I said, I just happened to find these that match and that people might eventually want earrings of. Here we've got, I don't know if you can see, but we've got some little black peppers. We have Philadelphia cream cheese, which is pretty exciting. These are by far my favorite, little tapatio's. I'm more of a Tabasco person myself, but I figured most people would want this. And for those who are enthusiastic about baking, we've got some McCormick apple pie spice. Now these are the more solid pieces that I found, and those are all prepped already. But these paper ones, like here we've got a Crayola crayon box, some wheat thins. These ones actually match, so I can put them in earrings. These Velveetas I'm also really excited about. A couple of bubble yums. Haven't had that since I was in like elementary school. And some little craft singles. Now the craft singles, I think they'll be okay, but I might just add these to my personal collection because these jump rings aren't as secure as I'd like them to be. If y'all could just give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Oh, let me introduce, you've got Bonner and his sister Delilah. And back. Come on, Glowcat. Wake up. There he goes. Okay. I've also got Glowcat. I'll be right back. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is start securing these more paper ones. Because these bubble yums, I actually managed to get the jump ring directly into the box. So actually these are perfectly fine. But these, like the Velveetas, these wheat thins, especially the Crayola, I need to secure the these little eye hooks in here with a little dab of hot glue, which is why I got this guy right here, right next to our lovely black Phillip. Just because I don't want to have to worry about them slipping out while I'm putting in the actual earring hooks that I have here. I had to get a new pack because I could not find my old ones. Story of my life. So let's go ahead and start with our little Crayola crayons. tiny dab of glue. Push it back in. And Viola. Doing so much better. Yeah, that's better. Next is the wheat thins. Just the tiniest dab of glue. I think I might have put too much in the Crayolas, but that's okay. I'd rather it be a little extra secure. Let's push this in there. There we go. Second wheat thins. Yeah, I think that's too much. Just scrape that off. That's better. Maybe if I add a little bit to the base of the eye hook as well. Just the teensiest, tiniest dot. There we go. There we go. Now see, I need to secure them because in order to make an actual earring, like one of these, like these for example, sorry about all the unwrapping. Not only am I going to have to put at least one other jump ring, I don't know if you can see it here, but it definitely needs one of these hooks, like so. The only way I can make that stay perfectly and actually have it be something someone's able to wear is if I secure this initial eye hook right here. So to do that, you need these little dabs of glue. Just little tiny bits. And these I'm also especially excited about. They're little tiny Oscar Mayer wieners. I do not have a matching one of this, but I could definitely at the very least make this into a necklace or like a pendant. I mean, who doesn't love Oscar Mayer wieners? They're America's favorite wiener. Okay, I'm gonna let those settle for now. Let me unplug the hot glue gun actually. Before it burns down my studio. There we go. I'm going to start putting the earring backs on my more solid pieces right here, because those are doing perfectly fine. I know for sure that those will be successful. I do have an online shop. I will link it once I get some of these pieces up. But for now, let's see. I think for most of these, I should definitely put at least one other jump ring. So here we have our rings. Of course, you need at least one pair of pliers. I actually prefer to have more than one. I know that sounds silly. It's mostly so that I can have one hold the ring and then have the other one open. Maybe find two that actually match. There we go. Sorry. I'm so used to crafting like really close to me and hunching over. That's a really big problem for most artistes. I'm gonna stick with one ring. Let's see how that looks. So just imagine this would be dangling like a little earring. I say that's pretty successful. Clamp that down. Oh, you know what? It would have been smarter if I left the jump ring open so that I could get the earring hook in there, wouldn't it? Whoopsies. Just open that ring back up. Alright. Just open it back up. Now we're going to just put the earring hook and Viola. And there we go. We got one little Tapatio earring. Perfect. Now, do not worry, folks. These tools are perfectly sterile. I accidentally scorched this puppy here when I was putting the eye hooks inside of all of the rest of the items. So, should definitely be perfectly sterile by now. They've been purified by fire. Let me actually put that there. The earring here. And there we go. Sorry, folks. Could you excuse me for another second? I will be right back. That wasn't what I was getting. But I will be right back. Alrighty, I am back. Oh, there you are. I found you. Well, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. So glad you could join. Oh, jeez. Sorry, I'm just checking my socials. Let's see. So far we've got these two Tapatio earrings. Lovely. Perfect. Let's move on to... Oh, I also do have this... Oops. Sorry. I also do have this Red Hot. But honestly, I don't know if I can make it into an earring because there's only the one. Same with this little Oscar Mayer Wiener here. But, who knows? I'll just set them aside for now. I could always add them as an option in my store as either a single-use earring or some kind of necklace / pendant. That'd be interesting. So let's see. Let's go ahead and do these cream cheeses next. So first one. We've got cream cheese here. Oh no. Let's just put cream cheese and the earring hook on this other side. There's a little more room over here. Ah! There we go. Perfect. Alright, next cream cheese. There we go. Perfect. Give me 1 second to check my socials. Sorry that I keep calling it that. I just don't. It's all the apps, so I might as well just say socials. Social meds, if you will. Y'all know what I'm saying. Good God. It's been a hot minute since I've turned on this iPad, so it is just flooding with updates. Is this cold enough? No. I'm gonna leave it out, because I do not want it to melt onto the rest of my glue and bucket. Alright, now we've got two lovely cream cheese earrings here. Next, I suppose, let's do the lemon pepper steppers. go. Let's open up the ring. And our earring hook. I believe we'll only need one for a successful earring, so let's see how it goes. Let's see if my beliefs are correct. Yeah? Ah! Okay, I was not correct. Maybe she needs a bigger ring, because it is kind of a big item. Let's see if a bigger ring helps. Yeah, there we go. Alright, perfect. Right after I said that, it fell off the freaking jump ring. Okay, so maybe that ring was too big. Alright, let's try our luck. One of the regular sized rings. There we are. Gonna go a little more. Got the pepper. Got the hook. Come on. Nope. There we go. Okay, that's a lot better. Right, got the hook. Got our pepper. We had our hook. There we go. Go ahead and secure. Damn it! This is not rocket science. May as well be. Elon Musk HMU. How do I put this together? Please. Fuck. There it goes. Maybe if I put the earring hook first. It's small. Let's see. Yeah. Alright. 5th time's the charm, huh? Okay, now we've just got our apple pie spices for the baking enthusiasts. I imagine these would sell really well in the fall, because I like to do certain Thanksgiving items. One second. one good question? Or one... I was gonna say, let's take a quick selfie. Alright, that turned out pretty good. Now let's see. Alright. What was I doing? Oh, right. Apple. A funny thing about the apple spice. A lot more useful than I thought it would be when baking. So most recipes will tell you a specific amount of eggs. This shit takes care of all of that. Although I do still add a little bit of cinnamon because it blends. Well, yeah. We are holding the ring. You know what? Let me just put the hook first. Yeah. Then I'm going to close it. Come on. Oh, there it goes. Now will it stay? Yeah. No. Trial and error, folks. That's what this is all about. That's what you came to see. Because we are crafting artfully tonight. And we don't make mistakes. We have happy little accidents. pissing the night away. Alright, we got one spice done. And our little spice squirrels. And we got our hook. Then our little spice. There we go. It will go on. Now these are going to be super easy because they're just little bitty boxes. How hard could it be? Alright, let me close that so I can focus on the public. What if I just straight up turn this into an ASMR channel? That would be pretty weird. I don't know, I just can't take all those whispering and mouth sounds. Drives me nuts. Although I do appreciate a good, like, slow unboxing, or like a, some kind of whisper scenario. I love a good whisper scenario. Do appreciate a good, like, bead video. Like, where they just get a big-ass box of beads and just, like that. Sounds so satisfying. Come on. Okay, I think I might know what her problem is. Should I soften my lighting a little bit? Let's see. Yeah, that's better, actually. Yeah, that's better. Better hook. Let's close her up. There we go. Now we've got one little bubble yarn. I'll leave this out so I can remember exactly how many jump rings it's supposed to have. I think I added just one more. Which is good. It's a little bit easier for me. Got our box. Oh no, wait. We add the hook first. That makes more sense, doesn't it? First we add our hook. We've got our box. Okay. There we go. Actually get that a little more secure. Clamp it up. And we've got two perfectly deep. Yeah, there we go. Two matching bubble yums. So cute. Now these I'm really excited about. We can move on to the boxes. I'm going to start with the cheese. Now who doesn't love a good Velveeta? I'm so sorry about my neighbor's dogs. Yeah, I can't do much about it. do apologize for the actions of my neighbor's dogs. They have no house training whatsoever. Hate to see it. Alright, let's see if she lets us stop at one jump ring. If not, I can always open it back up. Let's see. Perfect. There we are. Nice little cheesy accessory. Let's actually have them side by side, so I'm going to leave this out. I actually love the way that looks. Okay, let's open our next ring. Put in our little hook. Our cheese. Close her up. And there we have it. There we are. Perfect. Now, if only I had 2 little cans of Rotel to go with them, huh? That'd be perfect. So let's move on to our craft singles. No Tinder for them. They're perfectly fine being craft singles. Let's actually put one more jump ring. She already has 2. Let's do one more because it's kind of wide. So I'm going to need the extra support. There we are. I've got some cute little singles. Let's do the same thing to the other. Here we are. Second craft single. Let's close her up. Oh, more. Alright. And we've got 2 perfectly good craft singles. They are no longer single. They have each other. Now let's finish off with our meat thins. I say finish off because these 3, honestly, I don't want to put the earring backs on them just yet. Mostly because I don't have a matching and it's going to be a pain to take them back off. So, I think they're perfectly fine as is, especially these little weenies. I honestly don't remember right. I think this was from the very first Mini Reds package I ever opened. Which is crazy to think about because I have like hundreds. Don't even get me started on Squishmallows. It's an addiction, honestly. Like, I will go to H-E-B or I will go to Target. Target has the best ones, probably, that I've seen in my area. And I will immediately start walking to the stuffed animal section without realizing it. It would be a problem if they weren't so darn cute. Like, honestly. Like, I don't even know any of their names. Like, I don't know any of their official, like, government names. I kind of just like them for whatever animals or objects they are. Here we've got one finished meat tin. Like, I have an avocado toast that I throw around. I have a giant avocado. I have 2 baby Yodas. Let me see. I have a big ass dinosaur that sits on my living room couch that I like to punch periodically. It's just so satisfying. Let's see. Last jump ring here. Oh, Okay, this is our last earring. And voila! Huh? Lovely little earrings. And that's that. Give me one moment, please. Alright. So all those earrings are done. But as the stream says, it is earrings and more, in fact. And I have been meaning a lot more mini paintings lately. Just do a lot of warm-ups all at once just to see if he is flowing. And so, let's go ahead and let's cut all of my earring supplies away for the time being. Sorry if it's clattering. By the way, I do have larger scale works. Finished a self-portrait series. Got this one right here. And another one where she inked. Honestly, I see the value in both. I do think this one turned out a little bit better, but it might be just because like I'm not used to painting myself with, or painting myself period, but especially not with my eyes open. Usually I draw women like very demure, looking their way. I honestly, that could be a whole dissertation in itself, why I do that. I don't really know why. It's probably some kind of subconscious thing. I'm sure Freud would have a field day, but whatever. I just don't like doing eyes open. Like right here, even. Other figure that I did, gosh, I think it was over a year ago that I did this drawing. I just liked the way it turned out so much. She's looking away, only addressing what's directly underneath her. Philip, however, has his eyes wide open. Because he's trying to convince you to live deliciously. He's trying to manipulate you. Let's see. Where is my X-Acto knife? Could have swore I had it in one of my jars. Oh, you know what? I better have scissors. So what I've been thinking is, don't know if you're familiar with the game Loteria. It's basically Mexican bingo, where you have particular cards that represent different items that are said in mostly, pretty much all Spanish, always. But you can translate as you go if you're comfortable. It's really up to the player. It's literally just bingo, but it's images instead of particular numbers and letters. And the cards have these little margins on them. I've been thinking of either doing Loteria or some kind of tarot card design. I could go either way, honestly, because I do actually have a couple of particular tarot cards that I love that are like my favorites. Not to pull, of course, I just like them aesthetically. One of them is Death, which honestly gets a pretty bad rap. Like, Death is not the harbinger that a lot of people think it is. The real one that you want to get, majority of the time, is the Tower. Or Tower reversed in combination with a couple of other cards, which is going to take all day to explain. I just love Death, like, aesthetically, because it just exudes a lot of drama. Both, like, the card's reputation and the visuals of the card itself. It's literally him standing over a bunch of dead bodies, which is like, I know that sounds bad. But hear him out. Normally it's supposed to just signify, like, drastic change, which could actually be for the better, but, you know, majority of the time you don't see it right away. It's hard to see the forest for the trees a lot of the time. So you might be wondering why I'm taping it like this. I actually... oh, there's a piece of canvas. Ooh. Well, either way, regardless of whether I'm doing Loteria or Tarot, or maybe just like a little picture frame, that'd be cute. Either way, it needs these particular margins. Goat Cheese Babe, welcome. Glad you're here. I'm gonna either... I'm honestly really torn, like 50-50, because I only have a couple of really fun Loteria shapes that I like, but I have multiple tarot ones that I like. Only thing is, I am still not very solid at painting human figures in like such a small format. Like Loteria I mostly love because you can have a lot of fun with it because it's really simple items. Like La Botella, you could always turn that into whatever funny thing that you want. A lot of people choose beer, or ketchup, shit like that. You could just turn it into whatever, whereas tarot, as much as you can play with it, you do have to stick to a certain motif, which is a little bit limiting aesthetically. But it is for a reason, because the cards depend so much on specific imagery, which I get, but that kind of limits me being able to recreate them. I have done it in sketches before, but I've never done it in painting form. So I guess I'm leaning more towards Loteria after all. I want to at least get 2 done. Although, like I said, they're meant to be very simple, so we're probably going to start with a simple colored background, maybe something pastel, or maybe brightly colored. We'll have to see what my brush decides to do, what my palette decides to do. Let's see. And they don't have to be exactly even. I'm just trying to mimic the margins that these cards will normally have. I have some cards around the house somewheres. Though they're not the traditional ones, so I won't get the same idea aesthetically. And you know what? Since I have my iPad, I could very well just kind of Google Loteria card. Oh, I wonder if I could find a generator, actually. That would be really interesting. Let's see. Loteria card generator. Okay, I think I found one. No, never mind. Come on now. Okay, let me actually download a particular app that I could use. See how far that gets us. For now, let's see. Let me start mixing my colors. Got my palette down here. The camera can see me mussing around a bit. No, please don't let the messiness of this palette fool you. None of this can actually mix in, because the funny thing about acrylic is it layers really easily. It dries very quickly. A lot quicker than oil. So all of this, like literally, I could actually do this for a really satisfying stream one of these days. Because I have at some points just kind of dug underneath and just peeled it all like a really toxic fruit roll-up. It's pretty satisfying actually, because you can see the bare, pan underneath. Corre y se va corriendo. La Palma. Wait. Stop. No, I don't want there to be a timer. Pause. Okay, so I found a generator, but she is ready to play. Okay. La Mano, that's a good one. That's a really fun one. Because the funny thing about hands is they have fingers. So you can pose them however you like. So, let's see. I actually have one on the fridge. Oh no, wait, I sold that one. I had one where it was like a rocker hand, like, ya si un rockera, ya si un emo, ya so dark. I don't know if y'all have heard that TikTok, and that's what it's from. Oh boy. So we could start with La Mano. You know what? Let me start writing these down. Where are my pencils? As you can tell, I have a deeply organized studio. I have a system. I just kind of throw shit around. Where is my pencil? 1 second. Oh. Give me 1 moment, chat. Let me find my pencil. Okay. It was in a completely different room. So that doesn't mean my studio is disorganized. So, let's begin with an eraser for happy accidents. Your pencil, your favorite drafting ruler. We actually put the ruler to the side for now. So let's see. Oh, actually, let me do a quick sketchbook tour. That'd be fun. I don't want to just flip past all of this. End up looking too aloof. Here we've got our biblically accurate angels. Different facial sketches that I found while browsing Pinterest. Here we have my initial sketches of my attempts at recreating certain tarot cards. This was actually a read I did on myself at this point, which was the Two of Rods, Temperance, and King of Rods. I don't have the book memorized, obviously, so I'm going to need to refer to it to remember what any of this means. And here we've got a sensitive little black Philip. He's in his feelings that day. He's got little blushies. Oh, we've got some very emotional close-ups of myself in pastel. It's got a really cute one of my husband right here. Well, 2 actually. Let's see. More sketches. I actually took this sketch after going to a Leonardo da Vinci exhibit that showed portions of the Sistine Chapel, like all throughout the room, which was really awesome because I get this huge close-up of the Adam and Eve being expelled from the garden. And just before it, obviously, Eve is tempted by the snake, and it evoked this really awesome imagery of him just like he wasn't crawling down her arm in the original, obviously, but I feel like this is just more aesthetically like interesting. And this is just me fucking around on a spirograph I got at Target. That's all it's fun. Let's see. A bunch of Inktober sketches. I don't normally follow the prompts. I kind of just start getting spooky with it and see what happens. More Inktober. Junji Ito. And here we've got other one. Sketches of my baby. Her name is Baby, and she is a cat. She's 2 years old. Believe it or not. Inktober. I think this is towards the end of Inktober. Here are some sketches for my self-portrait series. This is how we started. And I might eventually make a painting out of this one. I'm just not sure what that would look like color-wise yet. Like, I do like playing around with non-native colors in theory, but in practice it's hard to really pull it off without making it look gimmicky, you know? Let's see. Alright, first blank page. So first idea, we've got La Mano. Let me try to zoom in a little bit. Sorry, I don't mean to touch the cam like that. Come on. There she goes. Let's see what our battery's looking like, actually. That'd probably be smart. Wait. There we go. Okay. Now let's zoom in a tiny... Not there. Sorry, guys. Zoom in a little bit. Come on. There she goes. Alright. Is that a little bit better? Down here? Yeah, there we are. That's a lot better, actually. I should have done that in the first place. Well, this is my first stream, after all. We're learning and laughing. We're living and laughing and loving together. Let me actually... It's gonna bother me. So let's go ahead and narrow it down to 3 choices. Why not? So first we have La Mano. Now, Spanish and nouns are in fact feminine and masculine. Don't ask me why it's La Mano instead of El Mano, because honestly, I couldn't tell you. I'm not a native speaker, and I'm not really a very good learned speaker either. Anyway. So La Mano, I'm thinking we could go with the palm. We could go with a little peace sign. That's really not as complicated either. So let's start drafting up a little peace sign here. So let's see, if we're doing a little peace sign, front facing, I'm gonna just kind of do a basic hand shape around this way. Imagine the wrist is here. Fingers go up and out. A little triangle formation. These 2 fingers. One's tucked over here. And we have the thumb branching out this way. It creates V shape in the negative space. Okay, well that's just a basic idea. So we're trying to get all our ideas down. Next one, let's see what else the app gives us. La escalera! Oh! That's actually perfect. Let's see. La escalera. Now this one's pretty self-explanatory. Just a ladder. Leaning to which way? These are just basic sketches, people. Obviously, the nicer ones are going to go over here. And then our very last one. La bota. Maybe I should do Doc Martens. Or maybe some Demonias. Yeah, maybe some Demonias. La bota, parentheses, Demonias. Okay. I actually could... Come back. Go back. I actually could also do La Corazon, but honestly, I've done hearts like so often. I honestly wonder if I should like just keep doing it because it's easy. But it's like, eh. Whole reason I even like doing Loterías is because I can do something different with the design, you know. Not that I need to reinvent the wheel every time, because that's exhausting. Now let's see. Let's do a basic sketch of some Demonias, she said. Before scrolling for 2 hours. Demonias, platforms, images. Yeah, that's easy enough. I could do that. Yeah? Yeah. Let me actually start sketching this one directly onto the canvas. Whenever our phone camera's ready, there she goes. Okay. So obviously we're gonna start with the ankle. Actually, let me start with the heel. That would probably be smarter. Off to a great start already. Oh, wait a minute. I always forget to do this whenever I do Loteria cards. I need to leave space for the text. Probably about that much. Because it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. So it won't need like a ton of space. So we're working from here to here for these big ass boots. You know what? We are just gonna do it to it. Because the whole point of Demonias really is to have a giant platform at the bottom. So as long as we have that platform, we'll be good to go, won't we? Here we have our platform. And the rest of the boot bottom just looks like a big ass, beautiful Frankenstein. Just a yassified Frankenstein boot. And I mean that in the best way. Not that I could afford these. Although I wish I could, because I am small. I mean, I'm not, but I'm short. Although maybe the joke should be that they don't even fit on the card. So this actually kind of works. Because they are Demonias after all. They're supposed to be like these big old e-girl stomping boots. Yeah, like a big ass Bratz shoe, but like leather. There we go. I got the basic shape down. Let's have it stomped down a bit. Oh, done. Alright. I can add the straps after putting on the basic colors. Because, I mean, chances are it's just going to be one particular black for the very bottom of the heel. The rest just very, very dark grays and silver. I think I have silver or like gray paint somewhere. That can definitely be done. Post painting. La Escalada is even easier. Maybe I'll stick with these ones. Let me take a sip while I think about it. Well, either way, let's go ahead and sketch out our Escalada. Now let's go ahead and write out our letters here. La Escalera. Ooh. Yeah, I feel like text is almost secondary when it comes to La Escalada. She doesn't need that much room. That can be done post paint. Down here. Until then, it's all about dimensions. Sight and sound. Let's see what we're looking at. Escalada. Oh, I completely forgot. La Escalada has that little pink segment in the background. Ooh. Although we could just paint that as like a little pink circle or maybe a square. No, I think a circle would complement the Escalada better. Okay. Well, either way, we're going from here to about here for the Escalada. Her side one. Yeah. Yeah. And it leans this way, that way. Okay. And the rest is just mimicking these top two first lines. Easy enough. Now, thing is, we might have to skip la mano. Because I feel like with La Bota and La Escalada, we could just kind of really dress it up a little. That's going to take a little bit. So, we are going to stick with these two, which I'm going to turn into very successful mini paintings that I might turn into magnets as well. So I have a whole series I have a whole series of little fridge magnets that I make that have usually turned out pretty good. We're gonna pull this to the side. Get to mix it. Now, first thing we're gonna do is the backgrounds, most likely, because that way we don't have to keep, like, once we finish the foreground image, you don't have to worry about, like, drawing over it, because that is a huge pain in the ass, like, trust me. Sorry, I got distracted. I just got my notes done today. So. Okay, anyway. What was I about to do? Oh. Here we've got our basic colors. A little bit of yellow. Probably gonna need a good amount of white. Where is my red? Oh, Jesus. I need to take the notifications off of that thing. That scared the crap out of me. Okay. Now for both of these, I think to save time, we might want to put either the same or similar backgrounds. We're both going to do blue. And we are both... Oh, wait, actually. What the hell? Because I take that back. Just kidding, you lied. What the... Okay, it's yellow. That's not big. That's not that big of a deal. Okay. Or maybe I should just make it all pink because they're demonias. Yeah, let me do that actually instead of making it yellow. Let's save the yellow for Escalera. For now, let's go ahead and mix. Let's actually start with white because we're gonna need pink. Side we've got the white. Other we're going to be doing, or sorry, one side we've got the pink and the other we're going to be doing the blue for the background of La Escalera. Oh shit, that might be too much blue. We shall find out what we... Paint rags. Alright. Mixing up some colors. Being a little Sir Mix-a-Lot. It's not really as rich of a blue as I might like. But you know what, we'll just make the Escalera that much more vibrant, I think. Let's go ahead and see what our pink looks like. Okay, that's pretty vibrant. And honestly, it's probably going to be washed out by the black of the boots anyway. So that's not much of an issue. Alright. Ooh. Okay. Let's see. We are going to need a wider brush. Maybe one of these bad boys. yes I do. Can I run it again? Move these to location. Always keep emergency paintbrush, folks. It's very important. But don't drink it. Whatever the hell you do. Okay. So let's go ahead and start with You know, let me actually start with the background of La Bota. She's gonna need a lot more pink than Mr. Escalera. Here we are. Now I know what you're thinking. What the hell are you doing painting all over the place instead of on the part where the paint is supposed to be? That is the magic of masking tape, aka painter's tape. It's not the same thing as painter's tape, but honestly I find when working with canvas, especially on such a small scale, masking tape really does wonders. Let's clean this up a little bit actually. Clean up the strokes. That way the background looks even for the most part. You can always add little clouds or whatnot. Maybe some glitter. That'd be fun. Okay, so we're gonna set that aside. And right down here, since it is toward the bottom, we're just gonna go ahead and do the pink first. That's right about here. There we go. Okay. I almost put that right in my drink. Right after I made that stupid joke about not drinking the paint water. Because the thing is, it's not a joke. I'm not joking, bitch. At all. Okay. I'm gonna actually move these away from the paint. Might be a good idea. Okay. Next is the lovely blue color. Actually do a thinner layer so we can still mostly see the lines de la Escalera. Gonna make sure to make it perfectly even. Right here. Okay. Let's put this guy aside. Now let's start on the basic colors for our Demonia botas. For our Ya Si Soy Dark, Si rockera. Ya, me gustas los emo. Start with a bit of black. Actually, let me start with some purple and yellow. That might be a little more dynamic. I do have some pre-mixed gray. Oh shit. That'd be real good if I just ate it on stream. Whew. Okay. So we've got some pre-mixed gray. That can come in a little bit later. For now, let's start with some yellow and purple. Since these are complementary colors, they will create a bit of a brownish, which, believe it or not, will actually be a pretty good base for the particular darker colors we're going for. Let me grab that little painting knife. Let's see what happens. Okay, we've got more of a dewy brown. We can work with that. Maybe she needs more purple. There we go. Now we're going to keep on mixing, but now might be a good time to introduce some black. Well, maybe I ought to have started with black and purple. Let me actually do that right next to it. So we can do a bit of compare and contrast. Now let's go ahead and mix this yellow concoction first. Yeah, that's definitely a little bit more dynamic. It still looks brown, but the black has finally brought it right to the edge. Something was in the way. Okay. Here we have more deeper of a black. Still has that purple edge to it. And this one is going to be mostly black. Yeah, this one on the left is pretty much completely black. I believe this one, or maybe we should just use pure black for the heel of the foot. Yeah, let's do that. A little bit of complete black for the heel. On the very bottom. Just to provide a little bit more depth. Actually, I should not put that there. Leave it right here. Okay, let me find the correct size brush for such a task. Here we go. It really should be a squared off brush, but I don't have any that are nearly small enough. So we're going to have to make do... No. Let me find a square one. No, that's too big. Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay. So for the very bottom heel, we've got some pure black. None of the other colors are mixed in with this one. Let's get all along the edge. We will go right back in and fill it. Might have to clean up those edges, but that's okay. Don't make mistakes, etc., etc. This part of the heel, the front, just to stick out just the teensiest bit. You've lost a little bit of depth here, but let me just clean up that edge so we can bring it back home. Now that's certainly a little bit better. And there we go. Maybe I lifted the front a little too far off the floor. That's probably what it was. Okay. Now let's put that down for a second. Clean off that 100% black there. Now we're going to go to the rest of the boot with most likely this lighter, slightly lighter black, and this slightly darker one we are definitely going to use for the shady bits. First, let's add a layer for a slightly lighter shade of black. Okay. Now for these stirrups, I'm just going to go ahead and leave like little gaps that can be filled in later. Obviously, getting towards the top, we're just going to have to kind of keep her going. There we go. Makes a little bit more sense. So we get towards the top. Wait a minute, that's outside the card. Well, the straps will still make sense once we start putting in some more silver. Doing just fine. Okay. We're going to leave that to dry so it doesn't mix around with the rest of the grays that we're going to put in. And we're going to start on the yellow bits of the Escalera. Now what we're going to start with are the basic shapes of the Escalera, and then later go back in with these shades. Which really isn't that big of a deal because it's just two shades. Yellow and darker yellow. How hard could that be? So weird. Actually, let me test the line. Test it over here. Yeah, perfect. Okay. You're gonna go down, keep going, stop right there. Same deal on the other side. No. Okay. Alright, well, I don't love that. But you know what? We don't make mistakes. Accidents. Bob Bros, help me. Let me try dragging it down. Give her a little more depth. Do the same thing on the other side. So we can break on through. Yeah. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing for the little rungs. So since I can still sort of see the little line toward the bottom, let's actually start at the bottom. I'm just going to stamp it. Just going to... Okay. 1 second. Let's see. Okay. You're just going to go ahead and stamp. Yeah. Okay. We got 1. 2. And 3 rungs. Should probably add more. At least 1 more. Yeah, 4. Looks... No, 1 more. Okay, now I have to stop. Because now there's too many rungs, I think. Too many cooks. So now let's go ahead and round those out. Give it a little more depth. For those who are just joining, or maybe are just doing a real chill watch, thanks for coming. We're just having a sit, doing a little chill arts and crafts time. Because it's loteria, you know, not that high of stakes, unless you're betting. But even then, most people just bet with quarters. Although I have seen people use whole dollar bills. That's when it gets serious. Like, damn. You're really gonna put $20 worth on hoping that the next card's gonna give you more luck? That's crazy. Okay, so I'm still not loving the way it's turning out. But you know what? It's, like I said earlier, or if you weren't here, I am mostly doing these as like a professional warm-up to kind of get my juices flowing for whatever my next larger project is going to be. Like, these are mostly like little fun bits. Like, actually, this boot's turning out mostly pretty good. Does need a little bit more depth. But in order to get myself jazzed about projects like this, where I actually take a long time and I really pay a lot of attention to certain details, this is actually my first successful attempt at layering human skin tones. Why did I say it like that? Layering skin tones. But to do that, I find it easiest, or I find it best practice to do like little projects like this first, just to kind of get in the habit of just getting in the studio and putting in the work, you know. And here I am. Putting in the work, painting Lobotas. Let's see. There isn't much room for the text of the card, but maybe that could be part of it, because like all down here is just tape. Maybe I could just make it like it's squishing the words Labota. That can always be added post paint, obviously. But that's one of my ideas. Yeah, it's actually a good idea. So, this bottom portion is still taking a little while to dry. Should make a shadow in it. Yeah, I should make a shadow under the boot, but honestly, I'd rather figure... No, that actually might be a better idea. Although, considering it's supposed to be squishing the letters, maybe I should add a shadow under the letters. Or maybe have them just like squished. Like, oh, actually, hold on. Here she is. Like this. Like that, you know? Because I was thinking maybe it looked like the heel was like directly pressing on it, but then I realized the boot would have to be turned like this way, and I have it just standing straight on, so we can't do that. But we'll have to improvise once it's all done and dried. But for now, let's go ahead and start on the fasteners. I think it might be a little too dark to start with. There we go. Just to lighten her up a bit. I do have some metallic paint, but it's all in gold. And as far as I'm aware, I don't think most Demonias have any kind of gold on them. I don't know, I'm not that familiar. I've only ever seen the black and silver, so those are the color schemes we're working with today. It hasn't lined up that much. But you know what? Maybe it's best to start with a base first. That's what we're gonna do. So first things first, let's start painting on the little straps, because the straps have a heart. But first, let's do our big metal straps. Right about here. And then here. And the heart's going to be somewhere in the middle. Let's do pretty much where all the white is. We're going to put a little metal buckle right there. And our last one. Strap, strap. And the buckles are going to be all in between. Now for the bottom here, to make a little bit more depth, maybe I ought to... Maybe I'll just do a little tiny bit of the gray right around here. That's enough for the top. We kind of brush this around. See what's what. Okay, that's a little bit better. I don't want to start adding white. Because the funny thing is, adding too much highlight actually takes away depth a lot of the time. You gotta find a good balance. So for the bottom here, maybe I should do just a more brush through version of the gray. Just along, maybe along the front here. Sorry, I can't see. Right along the front. That way toward the back it's the absolute blackest black, because this was just plain black down here. Yeah, it's a little bit better. Let's actually add one more layer of the lighter black that we used down here. Just to kind of highlight how much lighter the front of the boot might be. Okay, that's a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. Now up here, maybe I should add one more little trim, because the funny thing is this part on up is going to be completely cut off because it's right under where the masking tape is. So that actually works perfectly. So we're gonna let that dry before we add the heart, because I don't want to smudge around where the buckle is. We are gonna go right on back to our La Escalera. Okay. So for Escalera, she's actually turning out a lot more janky than I thought it would be. Like, I thought she would be the lumpy mess. But over here, she's looking a little wobbly. She's an old Escalera. She's seen better days. But you know what? We're here to support her in her journey. Okay? Let's see. So I'm gonna start with a little bit of you know what? That yellow and purple mix that I did for the boot, I should have done for Escalera. Or actually, let me use ochre. Since it's a little bit deeper, it might give me better shadows. There we go. So, for anyone just coming in, what's everybody's favorite color? I know it's kind of random, but like, all these colors I got in front of me got me thinking. Personally, I can't get enough of purple, if you couldn't tell. I am a purple person. If I must choose a color of hat or candy, it's usually purple, no matter what the flavor is exactly. I am definitely a purple person. Although my favorite insect is actually ladybugs, which has absolutely no bearing on my favorite color. Although I do appreciate red. Pink, that is a cute color. Pink. Honestly, second best favorite, mostly because it evokes Elle Woods in my brain. And honestly, that movie kind of baffles me now that I watch it. Because if I met someone like Elle Woods in college, I would, like, when I was in college, the girl who was always put together and always had coordinated outfits and, like, special personalized stationery, she was the person everybody wanted to be. Like, you looked at that person at, like, 8:30 in the morning, first class of the day, and you're just like, how do I get to this person's level? You know? Like, I could only imagine. Not being a bunch of fuddy-duddies. That's for sure. Okay, yeah, that's already turning out a little bit better. And some slight shadows. We got any other purple people in the crowd? Although, like I said, I definitely do appreciate pink. I went through a very distinct hating pink phase through some of middle school. Then immediately turned around pretty much around 10th grade. Like, what are you talking about? Although, granted, I was going through a very strong, intense Twilight phase back then. We're not here to talk about that. Although I'm not ashamed at all, honestly. I was Team Edward. I still kind of am. Have y'all seen that new Batman movie? Whew. Excellent piece of cinema, I must say. I know it seems like I'm just dabbing away at it, but it's really just, I'm just carefully trying to layer a little bit of the darker ochre. Because she's still going to look a little wobbly, but I want her to look wobbly in real space, you know? Starting to look more and more like an actual ladder. Not just a bunch of lines. I'm surprised nobody said black. A lot of people like to say black. They want to be a little bit edgy. Although, let's be real, most people who say their favorite color is black, they also, a lot of the times, will say purple. Or some people just kind of bounce back and forth, like My Melody and Kuromi, and I don't blame them. Because sometimes I can't even tell who I am. Like, I definitely do dig both of their styles. But at the end of the day, I definitely idolize Elle Woods a lot more than I do Kuromi. You know what I mean? So both of their styles are extremely valid. So I do appreciate having an audience for my process because honestly, if it weren't for y'all, I would probably be staring at my phone on TikTok for 2 hours and only have done like one brushstroke. That's what kept happening when I was starting my freaking self portraits, and that's part of the reason it took me so long. Like, of course, the technical skill was definitely part of it, but it was also just like I would sit down, get all my shit out, start mixing, start looking up references that I already had in mind, and I accidentally end up on TikTok for 2 hours. And I'm like, well, shit, the day's wasted. Might as well just stay on TikTok. It's a vicious cycle. Okay, it seems like the gray is mostly dried, so we're gonna go back to painting our little buckles. Although, for the hearts, I'm wondering if I should use a rounder brush. Let's see. You know what? Let me just try it with this one. on the side where the tape is. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. There we go. That's passable. Let me try one of my smaller round brushes, see what that looks like. Okay, yeah, that's actually a lot better. I just went with the rounder brush. Whoopsies. Anybody here into horror at all? I am kind of a horror junkie. Or really? Or crime, true crime actually too. I feel like that definitely also qualifies as a horror aficionado, if not a horror novice at the very least. Because if anything, true crime is just like about the real life horrors, you know. As cliche as that sounds, it really is. Although I mostly say that because people get horrified when I talk about it. Although I suppose I really shouldn't say true crime fans, because that makes it seem like you're a fan of the crime by extension. That's not what I mean. I just mean like have a fascination of it. I guess that's how I would put it. Because it's more of like I'm genuinely interested, but it's also like a way of understanding the world in a weird way. Maybe validating some of my anxieties. Anyone let me know if they can relate. I think the first case that I really fully read about was probably Bundy, which is pretty cliche at this point, but you know. Okay. She's coming together for the most part. Anybody into the works of Junji Ito or Stephen King? Not that they're synonymous, but they are definitely both horror artists, contributors to the horror genre. Although honestly, real tea, I've gotten way more scared of Junji Ito than I have with Stephen King. Not that his stories don't have merit, like in a literary sense, but I have been way more terrified by Junji Ito. I think it's because of just the stark visuals. Yeah, honestly, Stephen King is a really good author. Not that I've read his entire literary work, but my top 3 of his definitely has to be oh my god. Gerard's Game. No, not Gerard's Game. Gerald's Game. Not Gerard's Game. Don't bring my Chemical Romance into this. Gerald's Game. Obviously, except for that one scene. And, let me see. Definitely The Shining also. That's definitely gotta be my top 3. I do appreciate what he did with the Mr. Mercedes series. I think I just kind of fell off because it's like, it just didn't, like, I understood what he was trying to do, but I get a lot more true crime fiction bite out of someone like Gillian Flynn, say, of Sharp Objects. But I do appreciate him when he's like at his best of like just genuine horror fiction, like just trying to come up with the worst thing imaginable. Um, while also somehow making it an allegory for something else without seeming like that's what he's trying to do, which is why I love The Shining so much. Like honestly, I have read it I read about the movie and the book from like thousands of different angles to where every single time I rewatch it, I can see every single different angle. Like I've read so many theories about, obviously about the abuse allegories and the addiction allegories, but also that whenever Jack speaks to a ghost, he's actually speaking to himself. Like there are no ghosts. That's like the weirdest theory I've ever seen. Because if you think about it, if you completely ignore the book and you only watch the movie, none of the other people interact with the ghosts. Except Danny, of course. But, Wendy doesn't see them. Except for in the book. I think she gets a vibe from I think it's room 217. But other than that, he's the only one interacting with them. And that blew my mind. Like, I didn't even realize that. Shit's wild. But I will say, viscerally horror-wise, I've gotten bigger reactions from myself through Junji Ito works. Although I do love Stephen King no matter what in a literary sense. Like, definitely, honestly. Because Junji Ito is, like, he is the king of horror visuals. Just because his works are so horribly detailed. And King definitely does that in a literary sense. But, and I do feel it, obviously, like, if anyone's ever read Gerard's Game, when describing the Midnight Man, I felt her fear. Just the general anxiety of someone being in the room with you and you don't even know. And even if you did know, you'd have nothing to do about it. That is a terrifying thought. Regardless of her situation. So yeah, it's definitely something. Although one book that I've read recently called The Silent Patient, the author's name completely skips my mind. But it's a psychological thriller, honestly. Almost comparable to Stephen King, really. Like, y'all should really check out The Silent Patient. I swear I cannot remember the name of the author, but it's so good. Like, honestly. Let's see. So we've got the highlights going for our little buckles here. Let me actually do a few shadows. That'll probably work. Actually. Now, in the future, I do plan. Okay, that's too dark. I do plan on doing video game streams, of course. I mainly play Animal Crossing. I am trying to branch out so that I don't get sick of it. I also play Stardew Valley. What's y'all's like top 2? Anybody? Because I mostly love Animal Crossing because it just lets me simulate a full life. Similar to the way a lot of people play The Sims, like it just lets you mess around and do whatever. But I think with Animal Crossing you can do it aesthetically as well, and that just makes it extra fun. Although you wouldn't know it looking at my island. Like, I desperately try to keep up with the weeds. It's just so hard. Because leaf won't come unless your entire island is overrun with them, and I just can't let it get to that point. But at least I can make money off of it. Whenever I see him. Okay, so we've kind of lost the hearts. A little bit. I'm gonna try to get them back. But if anything, I could just turn them into like a general spade shape. And then just put like little stickers all over the boot. Because this is supposed to be like cutesy, but also hardcore. You know, like Step on Me and all that. I think the bota might be ready to take off the tape. If we're ready for a tape reveal. Let's see. I don't want to just rip it off, as much as that sounds like it'll be interesting. If you are too rough with it, you can sometimes just take off whatever paint you just put on. Okay, we're gonna have to clean up the edges a little bit, but that's okay. They are just supposed to be plain old white. And usually I'll put like some kind of gesso around the edge anyway, just to make it seem a little more professional. Even if it's just for myself. Although I honestly do think I should put this one on the market. On my little website. There we go. And here we have, oh, wrong way, La Bota. A little plus size Demania moment. She's got a cankle, but that's okay. And Escalera. She could use a little touching up, I think. I wonder where Puppy is. So I'm going to take one more pass at La Escalera. And then we are going to have to close up shop for the night. But I do thank everyone who came. We are definitely streaming Animal Crossing in the near future. I'm going to try and do it at the very least every Thursday. If not, Thursdays and Sundays. That's why I haven't put up a schedule on my page just yet. Just because the consistency is probably what's so hard about doing such activities. Like I said, this stream, maybe Thursday streams or Sunday streams will be more a chill time. Honestly, even the video games will probably be more of a chill time because, like I said, I mostly do Animal Crossing. I might also do Smash. If I can get my husband to play with me. Get off of the PS4 for a little while. He freaking loves Smash. Especially since Sora recently was dropped. Or not recently, but you know. Especially since Sora was dropped. And I think La Escalera's gonna be... Well, no. La Escalera needs a shadow down here. Let me actually get medium. Just a teensy bit. Teensy bit of painting medium mixed with my yellow and purple mix. Just make it as thin as possible. Then a dab over here and the rest of it. Down this way. Now we use a dry brush to just sweep it along. Yeah, there we have it. Now we're going to do another paint reveal. I'm going to wait till everything's 100% dry to go back in and clean these edges. So I will have to do that IRL. So it's going to take a little while. Okay, this last one's being a little stubborn. Give me a second. And there we have it. We gotta clean up the edges a little bit, but it's La Escalera! Oh. Okay. Well, thanks for watching, y'all. Did I use this? Yes, I did. I will see y'all next time, which is hopefully going to be Sunday. I will go ahead and post when my usual streaming times will be later on. I'm really hoping to try and be consistent about it, just to be a little more fair to the public. But in the meantime, if you want to see any more of me, I know my socials are a little bit small towards the top, but my my Instagram and Twitter are my exact same username, just without any of the underscores or capitalization, just Jack and Cheese, sorry. My TikTok is actually at Do the Roar, as in Mountain Dew, the Roar. No underscores, no caps. If you want to find me anywhere else. My Instagram has more examples of my artwork. If you want to see what else we might be doing for more painting streams, I'll probably start previewing what we might do. Although when it comes to video games, I'll probably just say in my Instagram story, streaming Animal Crossing or whatever. But until then, I will bid you good night.